one of the greatest harms a parent can cause their children is to offer them conditional love. You are preparing that child's brain. Children don't need much from us as parents. Sometimes all they want is, we need to stop raising our children out of fear, an unknown fear.
Okay.
We should raise them out of love, and we should raise them based on.
Some conversations don't just give us answers. They change the way we see ourselves and the people we love. Today's conversation is one of those. Michael Ohene Effah has spent decades helping couples build stronger marriages, guiding parents through life's biggest challenges, and inspiring young people to live with purpose, character, and integrity. As a counselor, leadership coach, and co-founder of Lead Afrique International, Michael believes that the future of every nation is shaped first in the home, and that the smallest moments between parents and children often leave the greatest impact. In this conversation, we unpack the power of unconditional love, why comparison quietly harms children, how just a few intentional minutes each day can transform a relationship, and what every parent needs to unlearn before raising the next generation. Whether you're raising children, hope to one day, or simply want stronger relationships, this conversation is filled with timeless wisdom. Please enjoy our conversation with the incredible Michael Ohene Effah.
Mike, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. It's been ages.
It has been. I think you're one of the few people who I'll say I am genuinely, lovingly envious of, because every time I talk about Mike, because we met a few years ago. I mean,
Yes.
almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
And we're in this small
About
room
8
where
years.
about 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and then we collaborated,
Yeah.
and then you were genuine enough and honest enough to take on our family, and so we've interacted.
Yeah.
Now, let me tell you this: the economy is so hard
Uh-huh.
that I am using this platform as an excuse to get free counseling. And hopefully, in the process, our loving and lovely audience will also get this opportunity. So today, I want us to talk specifically about fatherhood.
Okay.
And I'll give you my profile, and it's a generic profile. I'm a young father.
Yeah.
I have an 11-year-old and I have a 2-year-old. So it just feels like they are two completely different worlds.
That's right.
And I'll tell you this: every time I'm raising my son,
Yeah.
every single day with my firstborn, I feel like this is the first time I'm doing this ever in my life, because if it turns 10, this is the first time I've ever raised a 10-year-old. So tell me something. I'm seeing my son transitioning from childhood to adulthood or to teenagehood, right? What changes should I be looking out for? What is my son going through that I might not even be aware of, and I need to start getting ready for?
Very important question. What you need to be aware of is that generally our children go through 3 development stages, and each stage presents a different challenge. Each stage presents a different socio-emotional need and also demands of a different parenting skill and approach. The son or daughter at 2, at 4, and 6, what they need, what they go through, and what you must do with them is different from when they are 10, 11. And it's also very different from when they are 15 and 17. So the first thing is to be aware of these changing developmental phases and what each one presents and requires of us in terms of the parenting approach.
Okay, I'll stop you there. I find it fascinating because every time my son does something and then I react and I work it, and it works, I come up with this meta theory. Okay, now this is how you deal with this.
No.
And then next time I do the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And I feel like, listen, man, I am doing you better come to the table to meet me halfway, because every time I come up with a framework, he seems to almost intentionally shift the gears.
Yes, because you see, the world is gradually pushing all of us into a coded world where if once you code something and you see a certain trajectory, it must lead to a certain result. You cannot code human behavior. Every person is uniquely different as created by God. And so that child would go through different, in fact, in a day, we may go through about 15 or 32 different emotions. Now, those emotions will drive our behavior. In a day, we may go through different needs. Those needs will drive how we show up in the world, which we call behavior. And so, which is why today you do X, it will work, and the next day you do X and it doesn't work, because the child of Tuesday is not the child of Saturday.
Oh,
Because yes,
it's not working for me.
yes. So every day is a learning curve. Now I say this all the time that there's something like, there are teaching moments. You are a teacher, so you would know teaching moments and curriculum. You are very familiar with that. You design it and you use it to teach. Now, our children behavior and how they show up to us is a curriculum. And as parents, we need to use that to be able to teach them. You'll bear with me that every year you get new students, and they are different. They have different intelligence types, different parental approaches, different upbringing, different preparation before they even came to you. Now, you can't teach all of them the same way. There are some that when you talk, they get. There are some you have to do it in a one-on-one situation. There are some that you have to demonstrate before they get a concept. There are some that you have to let them do before they get a concept. It is the same with our children. No two children are the same because they have a different temperament and a different personality. Now, even how the children were, the atmosphere that a mother went through when she was pregnant determines how our children show up. I'll say that again. The atmosphere at home, whilst the mother was pregnant, determines how our children turn up. So and because every pregnancy is different.
My wife is the one who, if anything goes wrong, purely my wife.
You were the instigator.
Oh,
she only responded
okay
to the instigation.
Okay.
Exactly. So you see, every child, the pregnancy, different circumstances. Some of the children came when you were now getting your first job. Some of the children came when you were head of department. Some of the children came when you were new. So every child.
So it's funny. That means that essentially you, even within the same family, no child has the same father, right? So my 11-year-old experience of me is completely different from maybe I was just starting my career, or maybe I was in a different stage in my life. Good. So I was showing to him differently from the way.
Very good. So no child has the same parent, and no two children are the same, because every feeling, the predominant emotion, even when they were being given birth to, where they grew up in, the environment, the wider environment. Some of the children came when you were living in a 2-bedroom house. Some came when you were living in a 4-bedroom mansion. Some came when you had just started out in a chamber and hall. Some came when you shared a compound. Some came when you had a car. Some came when you were using trotro. The predominant emotion and atmosphere trains the children, shapes the children than we give credit to. And so parents are not aware of some of these dynamics. And they tell them, why are you like this? Why are you not like your sister? Your sister is doing the why are you not like that?
Listen. Stop attacking us as parents.
It's not an attack.
I'll tell you something funny, right?
Yeah.
Two things happen, right? You go and you see a child.
Yeah.
And this child is just brilliant.
Yeah.
And then, whether consciously or subconsciously, you're like, Ajua, why can't you be like Akosia?
Good.
Akosia is doing A, B, C, D.
Good.
Right? And so you're almost setting a bar, because, if you're the same age, maybe you should have similar achievements.
Yeah.
So that's one flip side. The other one that worries me is, let's say if you're living in an environment, you see let's say my son or is doing certain things, and I have seen a 15-year-old, for example, using my son as a benchmark. A 15-year-old is behaving this way. So I panic because I'm like, all the things that you are doing are going to lead you to be like these 15-year-old who I don't appreciate where they are right now. And my fear is I end up raising my son as the way he would turn out as opposed to who he is. So I don't show up to him the way he is, but so there's a lot of fear. I don't know if this is a fair...
Yeah, it's wrong for us to raise our children based on an unknown fear. And I get that a lot when I run seminars and workshops. Parents are looking at what they are seeing on TV. They are looking at the world politics. They are looking at the economic circumstances that we find ourselves in. And we are bombarding ourselves with all of these things and saying our children are growing up in this world and all of that world. For my money and from what I know, the greatest influence on a child's development is the parent. And it's been proven, research upon research, study upon study shows. For instance, a child born in America is 3 times more likely to end up in prison if there's no father figure at home. So it is very important. Parenting is very important. It doesn't matter what is going on out there. If we can be intentional parents, if we can be deliberate in the way we are molding our children, they will turn out right. It doesn't matter what the next door neighbor's child is doing. It doesn't matter what the school bully is doing or saying to the child. If the parenting is intentional, if the parenting is positive, the child will turn out very well. So I think we need to stop raising our children out of fear, an unknown fear. We should raise them out of love, and we should raise them based on their strengths and what we can harness and make them valuable, productive citizens.
Okay. I told you this is free counseling for me. I'm taking this. I'll go over this recording again. I'll tell you this. I don't know if you've heard this before, where sometimes people talk about your children and like, I don't know that child. Like they go out there, they're these amazing humans. And then they come back home and they're like, listen, mate, like, you're not respecting me, but I'm talking to your teacher or your friends, and or let's say your child goes on a weekend to visit someone, and they're like, oh my goodness, your son, he was helping with cleaning, and is this gold? And they're like, so what is it about young people and almost a desire to be approved by others, but with you, they show up as these complicated selves?
No, the children are themselves when they're at home. So what we see with our children when they're at home is the authentic self. They live up to societal expectation when they are outside.
But I want the societal expectations.
No, because with you, he is his true self. With you, he can be your son.
I like the version that...
No, you won't like that in 10 years' time.
Oh, in 10
because
years?
You see, in school, he's a student.
Okay.
And there's a power relationship between the student and the teacher. So he lives up to the billing of a student. Do as I say. Obey before complain. So he will shape in. And you would know that in Africa, a lot of that is actually from fear, the fear and the threat of punishment. And so he will just do as he's told to because he doesn't want to be shouted at. He doesn't want to be scolded by the teacher. He doesn't want other children to say something. So our children actually act when they are out of home. They act because they are fitting a certain notion or a certain expectation of them. You realize that a lot of children tend to want to veer towards their mothers, because with mothers they can be themselves. They don't have to act. They don't have to pretend. You get the 100%
unconditional love.
Unconditional love. That is when they can behave any way and anyhow they want to.
You know, Mike, I'm glad you've touched on that because, and I'm afraid a lot of us do that. Where you almost, whether we are doing it explicitly or implicitly, like my love is conditioned on this
Behavior.
So whether it's in the classroom or in other spaces, you see almost a child being afraid that if I disappoint or I don't show up like this kind of person, you're going to withdraw my love from me, especially with fathers. Can you speak to that, where we almost, our sons, and I'm talking more from a fatherhood perspective, but there are so many societal pressures, and you're dealing with office politics, politics, marriage politics, and it's almost like if you're not this version of the child I'm hoping you to be, if you're not getting these kind of grades, if you're not doing these extracurriculars, I am not going to give you the kind of love that you, so I'm going to withdraw it. Can you speak to that?
It's one of the greatest harms a parent can do to their child. One of the greatest harms a parent can cause their children is to offer them conditional love, rules-based parenting. If you clean the house whilst I'm away, when I come, I'll give you chocolate. If you get this grade or this position in school, then I will take you for a summer vacation. If you get this grade, then I'll buy you this toy. If you sit quietly and don't disturb me whilst I'm cooking, then I'll give you a toffee or anything. That's conditional love. You are preparing that child's brain to associate a certain behavior with a certain reward. And it will grow, he will grow up, he or she is going to grow up and behave just about the same, where they withhold love from their partner or their spouse based on a certain behavior. Now that begins to form the child. That begins to form. So in marriage, in relationships, you see that everything is conditional love. Why is my food not hot? If it is not hot, then I must withhold love from you today. And for many women, then I am not talking to you. Then I won't allow you to touch me. For the men, then I'm not giving you money. Then I'm not doing this because yesterday you did this to me. So you are already conditioning the brain to always expect something in return for something. It's wrong. Parents must stop that. And especially tying academic performance to love. What you are doing is rewiring your child's brain to continuously make things conditional. And in my work also as both as a parenting coach and also as a relationship coach, I see that a lot, where couples can go for 3 weeks in conflict without talking to each other simply because somebody didn't do something or did something that they don't like. And it's because they were conditioned from 6 years, 8 years, 10 years that you do X, you get Y. You do Y, you get X. Okay. If you don't do X, you don't get Y. It's wrong. Okay. And if anybody is doing that, they need to stop it.
Okay. Whew. Thank you. You just spent an entire episode telling me I'm a bad father. Okay.
This is not about you.
No, this is Mike. I want this episode to end. This is not working for me. So now in terms of that feeling, you know, if you look at our context,
that's right.
The two things sometimes happen. You are as a father, you are so busy trying to provide for your kid to have the kind of life you imagine for them, or maybe the one that you didn't have, that you might not be there physically to show up.
Yeah.
So there is that side.
Yeah.
And if I'm a father watching this episode, which is a brilliant episode, by the way, and I am afraid that, oh my goodness, I have not been doing it the right way.
Yeah.
For example, my 11-year-old. Is it too late?
No, it's not. You can always reset a relationship.
Okay.
All you need is 96 days.
Okay.
Yeah. You can always reset your relationship with your children. First of all, you need to understand. You see, children don't need much from us as parents. They don't need much. if you pay attention, sometimes all they want is 3 minutes undivided attention and they are off. So, for instance, when you are working at home and your child keeps coming to you, keep asking you questions and all of that, just stop. 3 minutes is all you need with a child. Undivided attention, looking into their eyes, asking, answering their questions or doing something with them. Once they get that full laugh, that's it. It's like, when you are very thirsty, all you need is a 33 ml bottle of water and you are done. You are satisfied. You are fulfilled. You don't need a gallon. So a lot of parents think that maybe I need to spend 3 hours or I need to be home. No, actually, according to research, all you want to do to be a good parent, 1% of your time every day.
Okay.
And that adds up to 14 minutes a day.
Oh.
Undivided, undiluted, unadulterated attention.
So this
to
is
your
not
children.
me on my phone and he's sitting
No,
by
no,
me.
no. TV blasting and
Okay.
we're talking through the news and we are talking through a World Cup match.
Oh.
3 minutes, undiluted, unadulterated, full attention. You are fine. A child is fine. Now, let me show you the 3 periods. So if you're a busy father, there are 3 periods that you don't need to joke with. That's all you need to do. First, in the morning, when your child wakes up, they need to wake up to love, not shouting.
Oh.
Not an angry outburst. And a lot of us do that. When I didn't know, I used to do the same thing. Wake up! You'll be late to school. Hurry up, do this and that. So a child wakes up and their nervous system is already heightened because they wake up to shouting. Now that's wrong. So if you can wake up your child to love, you can wake up your child in the morning with a hug, you've done your work. Then the second most important period that we need to pay attention to is when you are dropping them off to school or picking them after school. Because you see, when you drop them off from school, drop them off once again in love with a, I love you, with a hug. And once you've done that, that's all. Because remember that you are taking them to an unfamiliar environment where their nervous system is heightened because a teacher has a cane and is going around and they are, in their mind, they are checking, did I do this homework well? Will I get it right? And then around about 9, they are doing, is this girl checking me out? Is this boy checking me out? So throughout the school period, those 8 hours that they are in school, their nervous system is heightened because a lot of things are happening. There's this senior boy who is bullying them and giving them some eyes and all. So when you pick them in the afternoon from school, love, hug. That's all you need to do. Not about, why is your shirt dirty? Why is your bag here? Where's your message? And why did you bang the car door? Why?
Have you been talking to my son?
We've been WhatsApping.
I heard somewhere where somebody said that all a kid needs is to be seen, to be heard, and to be held.
That's it.
And
that's it.
Sometimes, and I can see where we are going wrong as a society.
Yeah.
Is you almost feel like, no, but he is to blame. When he wakes up, he does this. Or like you're saying, when he wakes up, he's not ironed his shirt. And when what is it about? And I want us to wrap around here.
Yeah.
What is it about what is the communicated versus the intended? What I mean by that is, how do I learn to listen to what my kid is really telling me? So there's that joke that kids know what buttons to press because they're the ones who put them there. So let's say if a son has not done this, he will capture the curtain and he'll be like, why are you touching? Because he knows that that's what, and then you forget about that. So I'm finding a way to articulate this. What is he telling me at that time when he is not doing what he knows clearly is expected? He is triggering me. I mean, and now is a new word I've just learned. You are triggering me with that. What do they mean when they don't say what they mean, but they do things that make you frustrated?
I think number one is for parents to put things in perspective.
Okay.
You see, when you recognize that they grow up very quickly and you don't have much time, I think you begin to cherish every moment you have with your children. And it will stop you from the whining and the constant criticism and the constant attacks on the children. Now, according to research, you and I, we are spending 92% of all the time we ever spend with our children before they turn 18.
Oh,
92%.
okay.
And I remember Fee, we are not talking about him, but I remember when he came for the first camp. And now look at him, he's almost my height.
It's true.
They grow up so quickly, they leave home so quickly. So when you put that in perspective, you won't spend mornings whining about what they've not laid their bed. Because the connection and the time and the love is more important than that crumpled bed sheet.
Okay.
And when you put things in perspective, you would enjoy them being at home more than the fact that they did not leave the toilet seat before they wearied. Because it's minuscule compared to the bigger thing that we are talking about. Because you and I, God gave these children to us so we can manufacture them into responsible, loving husbands, fathers, and productive citizens.
Oh.
That's our job. So you don't spend all of that whining, complaining. Imagine you had a boss who was always picking on you. Okay. Why is this pen not in his pencil holder? Why are you not tucked in the office? How will you feel working under that boss?
Okay, you're always seeing my faults.
Exactly.
Never.
And yet that's what parents do to the children. Why is your bed not lit? Why have you not swept your room? Why is your shed this? Why haven't you cleaned it? If you put things in perspective that they grow up so quickly and they'll leave us, you will not spend all the time whining. Okay. I have made it my point that I don't want my children to grow up with the image of me as a whining father. As a fear, somebody that I fear. So the question I ask parents when I'm doing a parenting workshop is, one, do you want your children to love you, respect you, or fear you? And when you are 70 years, when you and Fiona are 70 and you are in your vacation home in the Blue Mountains, what kind of image would you like for you to have of the two of you? And what would you want them to tell your grandchildren? And I think when you put things in that perspective, it changes your parenting. Because you don't want them to say, hey, when I was growing up, do you know what my daddy did to me? There was the time. Is that the kind of thing, the story you want your grandchildren to hear? So that's, for me, is the first perspective. The second one is that sometimes we give children too much credit. We forget that their brains are still developing. In fact, the research is that our brains will keep growing and developing until we are 26, 28. So a lot of the time, we are dealing with a capacity issue. We are not dealing with a stubborn or behavior issue. We are dealing with a competence issue. So our job as parents is to mold, to nurture, to shape. So for me, every incident or behavior at home is a teaching moment. It's a curriculum. We need to use it to teach our children because their brains are still developing. But a lot of time we treat preteens and teens as if they are 75-year-olds. So when your child does something, the question is it a capacity issue or an attitude issue? And your job is to correct. This is how you sweep. This is how you wash a dish. This is how you do this. This is how you wash your that. This is how you do this. When you pass here and something is on the floor where it's not supposed to be, you are supposed to pick it up. But a lot of the time we just say, don't you know you are supposed to do this?
Okay.
But the brain is still developing. We are still dealing with a muscle that is not fully developed yet. And so if we can change our perspective to building the competence and capability of our children, if we can rather cheer them on and enable them to do rather than catch them doing wrong and shouting and getting angry, which is why now the experience are having all these high blood pressure issues. Because you spend all your time at home angry.
Yes.
Instead of enjoying their children. We are angry with them all the time. Every time you call them, when I was growing, anytime my dad called me, it was because I have done something wrong or he was going to send me.
Okay, it's a good father. It's a good African father.
Consequential African father. It's because I've done something wrong or he was sending me. There was never a time, oh, you did very well. There was never a time when, oh, come and let me hug you. There's never a time I said, oh, you cleaned yesterday, so well done. No, it was always, you've done this wrong. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that?
Let's end here, but because I need to reflect more than I thought I needed. So, with the last part,
Yeah.
just to wrap it up, do you, from your own experience, um, think that a lot of us, it is either our childhood trauma that we are using to raise our own children, that even though we might criticize the way we were raised, unknowingly we are becoming the very parents who raised us,
And worse.
and worse.
Yes.
Oh.
So you are very right. You raise, and that's a whole conversation we need to have. A lot of people are walking around with unresolved trauma. And they are inadvertently replicating the same because that's the template they had. That is how they've been formed. And you know that in physics, something will travel at the same word. Is it same space or same plane until there's a countervailing force? So for most people, until we heal, until we seek help, to be able to undo how we were raised, we will raise up double. And our children will become everything that we don't want them to be because you have not changed the input process. So the first thing is for most people to seek help. Rather than, when I was growing up, do you know how I grew up? No, that was 40 years ago.
and you know, on a serious note, Mike,
Yeah.
There's almost just the way I would be a strong child. Don't cry. Don't.
Yeah.
Seeking help as is almost a form of weakness. Like me coming to you and saying,
Yeah.
you know, oh, Michael, I don't think I'm doing this the right way, and I don't know which template I'm using. Can you just quickly in 20 seconds tell me what is the first step in terms of purely from a parenting perspective? How do I come to somebody like you and say, I don't know it, before it's maybe too, you said it's never too late.
Yeah.
You talked about 96s, but what is the first step to take to realize that maybe this is not working as I was hoping, and to also maybe realize that maybe it's not my fault. Maybe it's just because I don't know better. Like I said, every time I'm raising my son when he turns 11 or 10 is the first time ever I'm raising. So even if you're a father who has been a father for 40 years, when your son turns 41, that's the first time you're raising a 41-year-old. So how do I then reflect on that and come and seek the kind of help that I need?
That's a very important question. And one is, if you parent the way you were parented, you'll get it wrong.
Okay.
Because the product, our children, that you are raising is very different. Look at our phones. Every year they change something. So the children that you are raising are different. Look at Benz, look at the cars. Every year they change the model. Maybe every 5 years they change the model. So you might have similar Benz, but you see that the features, everything is different. 5 years ago, from Benz CL something to the other one. It's the same with our children. Even though, yes, we have the same surname, we come from the same bloodline, your children are different from your time, your generation. The atmosphere, the environment, the political situation, the economic situation, everything has changed. So for parents, one, recognize that don't parent the way you were parented. And stop emotionally blackmailing the children. You people have gotten. You live in this house. You get the driver to take it. That's emotional. Yes, it's emotional. Yes, it's emotional blackmail.
Reminding them of, listen, man,
It's
you're having it good. I did not have it this good.
It's blackmail.
I mean, Mike, like, what? Then what do we have holding against these children? Like, how do I listen, man? Like, you get to have a teacher. I taught myself, especially the lies that we tell. I was first in class,
and I use a candle to learn.
To learn.
You guys have.
I had to go to the farm.
Exactly. Before I eat breakfast, you guys have holics and you have conflicts and you have it. That's emotional blackmail because they didn't ask you to bring them up.
You don't need to shout this out because we're. Wow, that's emotional blackmail.
Yes, that's emotional blackmail because your circumstances are very different from theirs. And so recognize that. And then number two, if you are listening to us.
Michael, before that, I heard there's this, before I talk to you, I heard there's such a thing as like parent envy, like child envy. So you are almost envious of your children because they have, is that true?
Yes, it is. And it's something that we are facing with, which is ill-forming our children.
We're almost jealous of the
Yes,
opportunities
of
we
opportunity
provided
we
our children.
provided our children, because you went to the public secondary school, but you've worked out. Your children are in a private international school, and every day you are drumming it into their heads. But remember, you made that decision.
They did not choose.
They did not choose it. They did not choose their parents.
Michael, let's end here so that we can have a part 2. Oh my good. I'm
And then,
afraid
John,
nobody will consult you if
John,
you
I
give
think,
us.
I think the point needs to be made that one of the things that we can do now. Remember, Alvin Toffler said years ago that the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So
say that
if
again.
The illiterate of the 21st century
Mm-hmm.
will not be those who cannot read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So you ask an important question that if you are listening to us and you want to change, what should you do? First is to unlearn. All that you know, unlearn it. Because as I said, you are dealing with a complete, totally new generation of people who are growing up in a totally different world. You cannot use the same parenting approach, the same parenting skills, the same parenting knowledge. Second is listening to things like this that helps you to change your mind. And then reading books, talking to people. And then for men especially, get a circle to help you to parent well. This World Cup, people travel, go to a viewing center, a fun park, and will spend 2 hours of their time watching some countries they don't even know playing football. But when a man needs help, then he says, I don't have anybody to talk to. So reach out. Don't suffer in silence. If you think that there's a disconnection between you and your child, seek help. Talk to somebody. So have somebody. Have about 4 people in your circles that you talk to. You can say that, look, yesterday I think I was too harsh on my child. And today I can feel that there's an emotional disconnect. How do I reconnect? How do I build the relationship again? Talk to somebody. So that you can get in Ghana we say apo, you can get the knowledge that you need to be able to quickly reconnect within 24 hours with your child. So men, seek help. Don't suffer in silence. If you don't know, because the template you have is how you were parented, talk to somebody, read, reach out for professional help so you can reset the emotional energy in your home.
Michael, thank you. Thank you. Honestly,
You're welcome.
because I think I have a lot of relearning and a lot of unlearning and a lot of learning. So thank you so much. And I hope I did not give an impression that I'm a bad father, because I'm an excellent father.
You are.
And expect my son to say, did you hear that? I am an excellent father. Do you know what you have that I did not have? Okay. But honestly, Michael, thank you so much. So please kindly tell our audience why this episode was important, what it is that you wish they take out of here, and what Voices of a Continent is doing that you think is critical.
In this episode, I've enjoyed this chat about parenting, fatherhood, and how we can get it right. What I've loved about this is the opportunity to apply new knowledge. You know, you cannot change anything until you first change your mind. And you can only change your mind when you have access to new knowledge and new information, which is exactly what this episode has done for you and I. So learn, but most importantly, apply what you have picked up today.